Leaders who are looking to gain cultural intelligence are constantly looking for ways to balance their core and their flex. And as leaders, we have to test ourselves, find ways to challenge our norms, ways to recalibrate our practices and behaviours as we delve into new contexts and situations. When we do that, we start to see and learn new things about ourselves and how we approach how we work with different people. In this video, Myrna Atalla, Chief Executive of Alfanar, will share with us some of her thoughts on her core approach to work and what is comfortable for her, and at the same time, her flex in terms of how in different contexts she's adapted her approach to work and life.
The discussion about core and flex is a very interesting one to think about. And I think it relates to my own relationship to work and my work ethic. I'm Lebanese by background, but I grew up in the United States and have a very intense and deep relationship to work, which basically means that I work all the time. And because it's for a social purpose, of course, there are no bounds, and I don't really stop myself. But this isn't just because of mission drive. I used to work earlier in my life when I was exploring the different options in a law firm. And I worked for an American law firm in Paris. It was sort of a really unique environment, but basically the demands were endless, and I was often left the only person until 4 and 5 a.m. in the law office because actually the French colleagues had a very clear approach to work, and they would go home at a certain point in time, and I just continued working both out of a personal drive to finish and also because I also worked for Americans, so there was no end until the HR department of the company brought me in one day to tell me that actually, according to French labor law, you have worked too many overtime hours and you cannot work any more overtime hours. So, I mean, it really is a sort of basic ingrained part of my being. Fast forward, I'm no longer contemplating what I want to do. I run a venture philanthropy organization concentrated on the Arab region. We're small, we're lean, we're mean, and part of the work ethic that I create in our work environment is that we have to be absolutely excellent and work all of the time because we're trying to make major culture change in a region that is desperate for it. That has now taken I basically had to renegotiate my relationship to work since the arrival of my son. It was really a very difficult, in the beginning, pill to swallow that actually I cannot simply be egotistical about my work and put it first all the time, because really and simply I had to keep a small child alive. And since coming back to work, which is of course a great joy, I have found that I'm able to, maybe I'm not able to, but I really choose to prioritize time with my family and question my own sort of natural instinct to do more work, and have now found that actually when I balance my work and my family, I get more out of my work and my family life begins to thrive. It's nevertheless a constant struggle, but what I've realized is family, the joy of my husband and my son are actually very much core. And if I don't consider them core, then they will suffer.
What an interesting perspective from Myrna on how she's tried to find balance in her life. And we all have these interesting moments in our lives and careers that open us up to new thinking. And when we find ourselves being challenged, we sometimes have to slow down and reflect on why do we do things in a particular way and what can we gain when we challenge that perspective. This practice really does help us to see how we can become even better leaders. So what have you done to test your behaviours and your approach? And what did you learn from that process? Please come back and share your thoughts in the comment section below.